Welcome to this episode of the CompTIA Tech Plus Prepcast by baremetalcyber.com. Let's begin. Security is a core discipline in information technology, centered on protecting systems, networks, and data from unauthorized access, misuse, and damage. In the CompTIA Tech Plus certification, Domain 6 represents 19% of the total exam weighting, making it the second most heavily tested section. This domain includes key topics such as confidentiality, authentication, device protection, password policy design, encryption, and wireless security configuration. In this part, we will introduce the structure of Domain 6, its major coverage areas, and how its principles support reliable, resilient, and secure IT environments. The purpose of IT security is to maintain the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information systems and the data they store or transmit. Confidentiality ensures that only authorized parties can view sensitive data. Integrity maintains the accuracy and reliability of information, and availability ensures that systems and data are accessible when needed. Strong security measures protect against breaches, reduce downtime, and maintain compliance with regulations and standards. Regardless of job title, all IT roles must integrate security considerations into daily operations, design decisions, and support activities. Domain 6 covers a broad range of security topics, starting with foundational principles, then moving into device and endpoint protection, password and authentication management, encryption practices, and wireless network safeguards. It also addresses related topics such as safe browsing techniques, secure software sourcing, and measures to mitigate software-related risks. These elements prepare candidates to apply effective security practices that function at both the individual device level and across interconnected networked environments. Security principles do not exist in isolation from other areas of IT. This domain intersects with infrastructure, applications, and data management, reinforcing the need for secure access controls, encrypted communications, and properly hardened configurations. Well-implemented practices in these areas serve as preventative controls against security incidents. Recognizing and applying these cross-domain connections is critical for exam readiness and for implementing comprehensive protection strategies in live environments. The domain begins with key security principles, including the CIA triad, which stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It also emphasizes frameworks for authentication, authorization, and accounting, which define who can access systems, what actions they can perform, and how those actions are recorded. Understanding how privacy requirements, compliance rules, and system logging fit into IT operations is essential for developing and enforcing effective policies, selecting appropriate technologies, and ensuring all activity is properly documented. Device and endpoint protection is a major focus area, as workstations, laptops, and mobile devices are often primary targets for attacks. Protection measures include deploying antivirus or endpoint detection tools, applying timely security patches, securely managing passwords, and physically securing devices against theft or tampering. Threats such as phishing and malware are addressed through both technical controls and user education. Device hardening, reducing the number of active services, disabling unused ports, and applying configuration best practices helps limit attack surfaces and improve resilience. Password and authentication practices are another critical part of this domain. This includes establishing strong password policies for length, complexity, rotation schedules, and restrictions on reuse. The use of password managers is introduced as a secure and practical way to handle complex credentials. Multi-factor authentication is highlighted for its role in adding additional verification beyond usernames and passwords. Finally, changing default usernames and passwords on devices is stressed as a basic but vital defense against unauthorized access. Encryption is presented as a way to protect both stored data, known as data at rest, and transmitted data, known as data in transit. Concepts such as plain text, which is readable information, and ciphertext, which is encrypted and unreadable without the correct key, are explained. Secure channels, such as Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure and virtual private networks, are discussed for protecting data in motion. Understanding when encryption should be applied and how it supports confidentiality and compliance is essential for IT security work. Wireless network security is an important section within Domain 6. It covers the correct configuration of wireless access points, including managing the service set identifier broadcast, selecting appropriate encryption protocols, and isolating guest networks from internal systems. The use of Wireless Protected Access 2 and Wireless Protected Access 3 standards is emphasized for ensuring modern Wi-Fi security. Both small business and home wireless configurations are addressed, ensuring candidates understand practical deployment scenarios. Software and browser security complete this part of the domain overview. This involves selecting software from trusted sources, keeping it updated to address vulnerabilities, and managing browser settings to reduce exposure to threats. Risks such as phishing, invalid security certificates, and malicious extensions are discussed. Actions such as clearing cache data, disabling password autofill, and enabling content filtering are explained as ways to safeguard user data and reduce the likelihood of browser-based attacks. Exam expectations for this domain include the ability to identify security risks, apply appropriate countermeasures, and interpret scenarios involving multiple protective measures. Candidates should expect questions that require matching threats to defenses, analyzing password policies, or choosing encryption settings. Mastery of this domain requires understanding layered security concepts and recognizing the influence of user behavior on overall system protection. Glossary terms for review include CIA triad, authentication, authorization, antivirus, encryption, wireless protected access 3, multi-factor authentication, safe browsing, and patch management. Grouping these into categories such as principles, tools, and protocols can improve retention and recall speed. Structured study techniques such as flashcards, visual mapping, and topic checklists are recommended for efficient preparation. Security in IT is a continuous process, not a one-time task. Every IT professional plays a role in maintaining secure environments through monitoring, training, and applying technical controls. Organizational culture, enforced policies, and consistent user habits are as important as the security technologies themselves. A strong, proactive security posture supports operational continuity and fosters trust among users and stakeholders. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Security awareness and user education are vital because users are both the first line of defense and the most frequent targets for attacks. Teaching users how to identify phishing attempts, avoid downloading unverified software, and create strong passwords directly reduces the number of incidents caused by human error. Effective security awareness programs are ongoing, tailored to the specific risks an organization faces, and updated regularly to address emerging threats. A workforce that understands its role in security is a major asset in any IT environment. Safe software use and risk management involve controlling the sources from which software is obtained and how it is installed. Users are encouraged to avoid downloading from third-party sources or unknown publishers, as these may contain malicious code. Organizations manage this risk by tracking software licensing, restricting unauthorized installations, and verifying the legitimacy of all applications. Failing to follow these practices can lead to security vulnerabilities, performance issues, or violations of licensing agreements. Safe browsing practices are a core skill for all IT users because web browsers are common points of attack. Users learn to verify that sites are secure, adjust browser settings for privacy, and make use of tools such as content blockers and password prompts. Recognizing secure connections through indicators like Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, avoiding suspicious links, and disabling unnecessary browser extensions help protect against credential theft and session hijacking. Good browsing hygiene reduces the risk of malware infection and data loss. Updates and patch management are critical for maintaining secure systems. Regular updates address vulnerabilities in operating systems, applications, and device firmware, closing potential points of entry for attackers. Unpatched systems are frequent targets for ransomware, botnets, and other exploits. IT teams typically use automated patching tools to ensure all devices in a network receive updates in a timely manner. Consistent patching is a fundamental layer in a comprehensive security strategy. Multi-factor authentication strengthens account security by requiring a second form of verification in addition to a password. This second factor can include a one-time code sent via short message service, an authenticator application, or a biometric scan such as a fingerprint. Multi-factor authentication significantly reduces the risk of account compromise caused by stolen credentials, as an attacker would also need access to the additional factor. This practice is now widely adopted in both enterprise systems and consumer services. Guest access and network segmentation protect internal systems by separating trusted devices from external or untrusted connections. This separation can be applied to guest Wi-Fi networks or to Internet of Things devices that do not require access to core business systems. Isolating traffic limits the potential damage if one part of the network is compromised. Properly configuring routers and switches to enforce segmentation helps maintain privacy and reduce the likelihood of internal breaches. Firewalls and antivirus tools are baseline protections in IT security. A firewall monitors and filters network traffic based on predefined rules, blocking potentially harmful connections. Antivirus software scans files and processes to detect, block, and remove malicious code. Both tools require regular updates to maintain effectiveness against evolving threats. Together, they form essential layers of defense that complement other security measures in protecting both endpoints and networks. Security logging and monitoring enable early detection of suspicious activity. Logs record events such as failed login attempts, blocked connections, and configuration changes, which can serve as early warnings of an attack. Monitoring tools can analyze these logs in real time, generating alerts for unusual patterns. Maintaining secure, tamper-proof logs and reviewing them regularly is a key part of both proactive defense and forensic investigation after an incident. Regulatory compliance and privacy regulations ensure that security practices align with legal requirements. Laws such as the General Data Protection Regulation, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, and the California Consumer Privacy Act dictate how personal and sensitive data must be handled, stored, and reported in case of a breach. Non-compliance can result in fines, legal action, and damage to an organization's reputation. Understanding these regulations prepares IT professionals to manage data responsibly. Security in cloud and remote work environments requires additional precautions due to the increased use of public networks and potentially unmanaged devices. Cloud tools must be configured with access controls, encryption, and audit logging to prevent unauthorized access. Remote users should connect through virtual private networks and follow multi-factor authentication requirements. As remote work becomes standard, securing these connections is critical for maintaining data confidentiality and system integrity. Security is a shared responsibility that depends on cooperation between users, IT staff, and organizational leadership. No single policy or tool can guarantee complete protection, so layered defenses and collaborative practices are essential. Clear policies, regular training, and proactive monitoring reduce risks across the organization. Everyone, from end users to system administrators, plays a role in building and maintaining a secure IT environment. On the exam, candidates should be able to identify security principles such as confidentiality, integrity, and availability, describe user-level practices like password hygiene and phishing awareness, and evaluate technical controls including encryption, firewalls, and network segmentation. Many questions will present scenarios that require matching threats to countermeasures or recommending configurations that reduce risk. Recognizing both technical and behavioral aspects of security will be essential for success. Glossary terms to review include CIA triad, multi-factor authentication, antivirus, phishing, patch management, guest network, authorization, and compliance. Organizing these terms into categories such as principles, tools, policies, and risks supports faster recall during the exam. Practicing their definitions alongside real-world applications reinforces the ability to use them in both test scenarios and practical IT situations. In the next episode, we will focus on device-level protections, beginning with how to recognize phishing attacks, defend against malware, and apply hardening techniques to reduce vulnerabilities. Join us for Episode 50, Device Security, Phishing, Malware, and Hardening, as we begin applying these principles to specific system protections. Thanks for listening. Please visit baremetalcyber.com for more cybersecurity information and education, including a new children's series. For more information on books and more, follow us at cyberauthor.me.